know, did you see the email that I sent out saying I'm moving the workshop topic, Secret to Healthy Relationships, to be the sermon topic? And I was saying to one of my friends recently, well, I wasn't sure anybody thought I knew the secret to healthy relationships, and they might not come to workshops like that. So now I have a captive audience. You have to come, and we'll see. Because this is the most passionate thing I know of for all of us, isn't it? Relationships are the workshops of our lives. This is where we really learn the lessons of love. We're here to learn to love, and we learn that in relationship. So our relationship skills are critical to our spiritual growth. Now, if people say they want the metaphysics, so here's the metaphysical part of relationships, right out of Lessons in Truth, the chapter on personality and individuality. So personality is considered personal consciousness, self-centered consciousness, consciousness based in ego, egoic consciousness. And then spiritual consciousness is our individuality, the expression of the Christ spirit, which is the same name for everyone, but it's individualized, it's unique, completely unique in each person. Whereas the personal consciousness is pretty much the same drama, the same dragnet drivel in everybody. So, from that basis in metaphysical understanding of the consciousness levels that we're looking at, I want to get down to the specifics, the actual nuts and bolts of what the skills are that we need to transcend this personal level of consciousness that is centered in self, attached to ego and power. There have been so many breakthroughs and so many self-help works to get us on track of success in our relationships. Like to name a few, there's been the Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. How many of you have seen that? Everybody knows. How about the 5 love languages? Wonderful work. That gives us miles ahead in our relationship skills. But I'm not just talking about healthy relationships, not just working well, but beautiful, alive, vibrant relationships. When I typed in the title of the talk, I typed The Secret to Happy Relationships by mistake. I think that was a Freudian slip. So here is what I'm talking about. First, let's lay the groundwork. The necessary skills for a relationship to survive are human frailties. I always like to say the problem with being in love is that if two people are not in love, the relationship is not worth fixing yourself for. It's not worth changing yourself at depth to be able to show up in a healthy way, because the relationship isn't that important anyway. But if two people are in love, then they go crazy and they can't address their deep issues because they get into a competition of whose pain is most important. So come to the conclusion that relationships can never work. So no. No, there's a way around this. First of all, if I was to embark on a significant relationship, the first thing I would do would be to pack us off to the Landmark Forum. Has anybody ever been to that? It's very transformative. And it gets you out of being stuck in the conversation that you live in, which often takes 10 years of therapy and a lot of money. And in one short weekend, you can jump out of your familiar context and what they say, catch on to what you don't know that you've been doing all your life. So that's a lot of fun. I went to the Landmark Forum with my own daughter last summer. I've been asking her to go for 10 years. And she was one of the people who stood up at the end of the seminar and said, thanks, Mom, for keeping on standing for me for 10 years, even though I blew you off and said, no. I'm so glad that you held on and had me do this, because she experienced such a stress relief, such a liberation, that she valued it tremendously. So that's one thing. And I can tell you that the skills in relationship that are done in that work are available, everywhere. It's just kind of a slower thing to catch on to, oh, I'm kind of trying to be right there. Oh, I'm trying to avoid feeling dominated. I'm disappearing so I won't be dominated. We all do these things, and the cost is relatedness. The cost is that the relationships are not as strong, they're not as trusting. Then there is the techniques of communication and specific feedback. I found out about this in a book I came across in the 70s called How to Fight Fair in Love and Marriage. Anybody ever seen that book? Okay, you've seen it. Okay, and it just says that you can't tell somebody when you're trying to clear up an issue to say, you always leave the dishes in the sink, blah, blah, blah. You have to have a specific experience. When you left the dishes in the sink last night, it caused me inconvenience because I couldn't find any clean knives or whatever. You have to have a specific time that you're referring to and not generalize. That's part of that giving valuable feedback in partnership. That's a very important skill. It's, years and years I've been working on this, and I still find myself saying, you never blah, 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 or you always blah, blah, blah. Can't do that. That doesn't work. Agreed? Are you with me? Because it's just criticism. And then there's a book called Getting the Love You Want. Have you heard of this book? It is a marvel. It originated a whole practice in psychotherapy called imagotherapy. And if you read that book, it's very eye-opening to explain why people are drawn to each other who have similar wounds. And then the more intimate they become, the more their wounds get in their way. And like I said before, it becomes a competition of whose pain is most important. Whose pain are we going to address first? Well, if you really loved me, you'd address my pain first. So the imagotherapy is a very powerful way to have a couple sit down and work on issues that are causing them both pain and come to a much deeper connection. The secret that I think goes unnoticed, though, the unplumbed depths, is that there is an energy that is imprinted on us from each other. The imprint, right? And we have power over what that imprint is. Just think of that. We leave an imprint on everyone we interact with, and when we're unconscious of that imprint, it can be anything. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be disruptive, it can be helpful, it can be anything. But we have power over what that imprint is. If you open your heart and mind to the activity of Divine Spirit, and then use that activity energetically to share with another, something different happens. Something timeless, something healing, something lifting. Have you experienced this? Say amen if you know what I'm talking about. Yes. First, you must see that every person, including yourself, is Christ in expression. Every person is a spiritual being unfolding in a pattern of expressing greater and greater good. This is a lifelong practice. This is really the skill that we must discipline ourselves to see that every person is the Christ in expression, including ourselves, and unfolding in a perfect pattern toward greater and greater good. When you get in with that concept, when that becomes your prevailing context, your only context, things change. Then you have to be willing to take responsibility for balance in the relationship. You see, you can access this wonderful, eternal, limitless source of spiritual power, but when you bring it into the day-to-day relationship, it can knock things all way out of balance, can't it? You can come on too strong. You can be too powerful. You can be overly giving. You can be um, just out of balance. That's mastery. That's awareness. That's using this ability to create relational worlds with people for good. Things that you have to balance are giving and receiving, time that you have available or don't have available, the intensity that you show up with, the commitment that you offer. All of these things are made in mutually balanced exchanges energetically. There's no comparing, there's no possessing, there's no expectation, no jealousy, no passive aggressive. You want me to give examples of each one of those and bring us way down? That's all personal consciousness, isn't it? That's what little kids do. They compete, they're possessive. And the passive aggressive, that's very grown up. Like, well, so-and-so was late for me, so I'm gonna be late tomorrow. That's the passive aggressive stuff. That's personal consciousness. We mature beyond that. Then there are healthy boundaries that have to be agreed upon. The boundary is expressed and respected. And when we finally get to a point of actually being well adjusted, then go into high gear. The next step is relationship that takes you to true fulfillment, a special kind of happiness that is truly a treasure. Now, have you heard me speak before of poeting? No? I have spoken of it from places, and I heard it in a Unity seminar called Relationships and All That Jazz, given by Reverend Max Lafser, and he was saying that the highest level of maturation of relationship is poeting your partner. There might be some other thing you've heard of that describes what we're talking about here. It's the cutting edge of human evolution. To be able to be in relationship with freedom, with no codependence, with trust, with balance, with romance even. Romance is not just for couples that are mating. Romance can be between kings and servants. It can be between brothers and sisters. Romance is a quality of energy that is characterized by bravery, by honesty, and by unselfishness. I got that out of the movie Pinocchio. Prove yourself brave, selfless, and true. So yeah, romance is hard to quantify, and it just means it's divorced from doing things for money. It's doing things for the love of it. But back to energetics. When you open your mind and heart to the activity of spirit and then infuse that activity into your interaction, a new kind of creativity and aliveness happens. It requires that you trust spirit to inspire you with things to say, ideas to share, possibilities to invent, and you trust the divinity in others to receive it. That's creating from nothing. And if you have any, if we were doing a workshop on this, if you have any memories of times when you've just said, I really want to share myself with this person, what should I say? I really want to connect with this person, and then go blank and let something come out of you. Something magical happens. Have you done this before? I'm inviting you to do this. I'll tell you a little story. I was traveling on a bus to Amarillo, Texas to be with a young woman who was having a baby by herself. And I was changing buses in St. Louis. And I was sitting beside a black woman about maybe 10 years younger than me. And it was hard on both of us to do this bus travel, sitting in the middle of the night waiting for the next bus, which was going to be another 4 hours. And so I thought, and I just said, I love milk. She lit up like a Christmas tree. She said, I do too. I just love milk. And we went on from there. An even better one is, I was at a YOU rally. These kids, this age kids, this was so amazing. So I didn't know anybody there. And we were all gathered outside the dining room on the little patio to wait for us to call for breakfast. So everybody was just standing there. Nobody knew anybody. Nobody talked to anybody. What are we doing? And we're waiting. So there was this boy right in front of me. I did it again. Just go, I really want to connect with this person. What should I say? I said, you ever watch The Lone Ranger? He goes, yeah. And I said, you know that song they play, the William Tell Overture, that's such a great pairing with the Lone Ranger. He said, my grandfather had that song played when he was dying. Oh, wow. And I said, were you there? He goes, and we just looked in each other's eyes, and our eyes just went like this because I realized how special that was. He was with his grandfather, and his grandfather was spirited enough to invoke a song like that, and he was there to witness it, and I was witnessing him witnessing it. That kid was connected with me for the rest of it. Every other rally I ever went to, he always looked for me. Just that moment was an imprint. That's what I'm talking about. That imprint that is so special, that recognizes something extraordinary, some depth of experience that is meaningful to this person and your life. In recent topics, I've emphasized that there's an energetic component to the qualities we seek to attain. You know, in the negativity police talk, it was like the quality of negative energy. You want to use your power of renunciation, push it away from you. In the power addiction sermon, you want to detect that energy that feels like domination, that feels like the appetite for power. You want to escape that. You want to push that away from you. The divine masculine and the divine feminine are energies in our intuition that we cultivate and bring into expression in a positive way. That's what makes the unity work unique, you know. We are working with energies. We are using ourselves as spiritual beings to attune and choose the thought quality, the thought vibration that we want to cause and transmit to the world. That's the power that we have. It starts with your positive presence, your smiling listening, your unconditional positive regard. It starts with that. It doesn't end with that. Humor is a big part. I could give an example of that with a story about Max Scripps' birthday. Is Matt Scripps in the house? Is he downstairs? No? Sometimes he's down in the kitchen. Well, he can't hear. Okay, good. It's okay. His birthday was, what was it, Wednesday? And so there was just 4 of us there. Carolyn, Vina, me, and Catherine. And so he sat at the table and he pointed to each one of us and said, now, how's things going for you? And then, how's things going for you? He asked me, how are your children, Diane? He never does that. He's never done that. I said, does he do that? No. He structured the conversation pointedly to each one of us in an orderly way and listened, and then we were all finished. He says, well, I've been seeing my new girlfriend, and we did that. I said, what? Wait a minute. You set us up, and you sat each one of us talk before you even told us that you have a new girlfriend. I said, do you realize all the women in the church are going to be devastated? He says, shall I bring handkerchiefs when I come back? See? So that dinner ramped up a few levels of being memorable, because we had fun. We had fun. We made fun of ourselves, and saw that we honored his news and didn't just take it in stride. So yeah, as we emerge into the future of a world that is in partnership with all of us, we show up with positive energy, with willingness to do the will of spiritual guidance, and with hearts that are powered by the Christ Spirit and illumined with the light of infinite mind. Amen. Thank you.
in our prayer of protection, we individually and collectively proclaim that the love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. We end our life-affirming prayer with, wherever we are, God is. So let us meditate on wherever we are, God is. This is a universal truth. All human relationships begin with, they are supported by, they are protected by our connection to the love of Mother, Father, God. Our connection to the love of Mother, Father, God is the basis of all our relationships. All human relationships are healed. See them being healed in our heart. Our relationships are enriched. See them being healed in our minds by this eternal love of Mother, Father, God. All human relationships are supported by infinite love. See the relationships being protected, being supported in our lives at all times. You may want to put a finger or a hand to your heart to infuse this into your cellular structure, or you may want to relax as you are. I am one with Mother, Father, God. Mother, Father, God is love. I am one with love. I am always one with love. I am eternally one with love. Love is one with me. Wherever I am, God is, and love is. God is, and love is. Whoever I am, God is, love is. Whoever I think I am at any time, in any situation, Mother, Father, God is, love is. I am always in Mother, Father, God's infinite love. Whoever I am becoming in my transformation, the love of Mother, Father, God is within me, is around me. And imagine ourselves now being completely surrounded, totally supported by the infinite love of Mother, Father, God. Above me is the cosmic love of Mother, Father, God. Below me is the earthly love of Mother, Father, God. Above and below, only love. To my right is the love of Mother, Father, God. To the left is the love of Mother, Father, God. Love on my right, love on my left. Only love. Beneath me, behind me, is the protecting love of Mother, Father, God. In front of me, the guiding love of Mother, Father, God. Behind me and in front of me, only love. And we stay now in the divine protecting love, the divine perfecting love, divine guiding love. God is. Love is. We breathe in love. We exhale love. We live love. We are surrounded, enriched, sustained, supported, inspired, guided by love. Love is all there is, and all is love. I am one with Mother, Father, God. We put this into our cellular structure. I am one with Mother, Father, God. Mother, Father, God's love is one, united for eternity with me. I am one with God. Love is one with me. And so it is. And so it is. Shalom. Amen.